I'm doing a live for one reason and one reason only. Oh look, I haven't even got my screen properly behind me. Did you feel me? The reason why I want to show up on this live is I got quite heated in myself. I tried to keep my heatedness not on the actual page. I got quite heated yesterday with talking to a bunch, I think largely American women, younger women I think, about these. There was this post by this very lovely woman who posted something saying how she didn't want to feel pressured by society to use Botox on her face, and how she wanted to experience her lines and feel comfortable with her lines and grow old with her lines, all of her lines, all around of her face, and gently move. Oh, sorry, I got a bit sore holding those lines there, but they're still there. See, they're still there. Even when I'm not making them be there, they're still there. I've got quite strong lines on my face. Anyway, this post was from this woman saying that she wanted to live in a world where whatever your role, whether you're on TV, film, on Facebook, on Instagram, a woman's natural aging was seen as beautiful and something we celebrate and enjoy. And I have a very particular celebration about my lines, which I want to share with you because I think it's such a beautiful reframe. And it's something I think that kind of happened by accident, or maybe I made it happen, I don't know. But years ago, years and years and years ago, when I was at secondary school and I sat in geography with Mrs. Blower, I would be concentrating, and my concentrated face looked a bit like this. It still does. If I'm really concentrating and trying to understand something, I have quite strong furrows in my forehead. And Mrs. Blower, in the middle of teaching something to do, I think it was something to do with groins on beaches. That makes me chuckle now. I think it was groins particularly. No doubt I was trying to understand why a part of the human body was on a beach. I don't know. But I was concentrating to try and understand, and she stopped in the flow of her teaching and said, "Camilla Constance, you need to stop pulling that face because you'll have frightful lines when you're older." To which I was a little bit surprised because I was at a girls only school, supposedly quite feminist and empowered, and we were being trained, schooled to think about doing other things and worry about what our faces looked like. And this was the first time, I was probably about 14, 15, I realised that despite having glittering academic record, despite being as successful as any of my male peers, I was going to be judged by the lines on my fucking face. I was like, I was absolutely, completely gobsmacked. And I think, sorry about that, I think from that point onwards almost, a bit like when my mum offered me a nose job because I didn't like my big nose at a similar age, I think I developed this strong sense of, fuck them. Like, seriously, I got to do all of this. I've got to compete with the boys at work. I got to have the babies, raise the children, and worry about my frigging lines so that they find me attractive. It was like, no, I'm going to find my own lines attractive, and I'm going to brazen out my lines and brazen out my nose and brazen out every part of me, on my face at least. I'm not quite as confident with my body, but I certainly am with my face. I'm going to enjoy my face exactly as it is. And as you can see, I very rarely wear makeup. I've got naked skin all the time. I don't have false eyelashes. I don't wear lipstick very often. I show up. I've just done a live in my Facebook group. I'm here on Facebook. This is me. I'm a highly sexual, really confident sex coach working in an industry that is not particularly easy. It is very, very youth-based, and in which women are seriously talking about getting Botox done on their fucking foreheads to show up as a sex coach. Sexual energy moves around our bodies when we are relaxed, when we are confident, when we're comfortable in our bodies, when we let our tummies blob out. Like, if you're lying in bed holding your tummy in to look perfect, you're blocking that energy moving through your body. And I can't imagine it's much different with our faces. If we put, I don't even know what that Botox is, but if we put a chemical, is it a nerve agent? I don't know. If we put a chemical into our foreheads that freeze our foreheads, what's our cum face going to do? Like, I'm sorry to be so crude, but seriously, how is our face going to show our joy, our pleasure, our excitement, like our life? Like, how are we going to show what we look like if we shut everything down and become these frozen, literally frozen plastic dolls? I do not want to mimic a Barbie doll. for any part of my life, but particularly not as I go into my 50s. I don't want to try and pretend that I'm some kind of plastic doll. Why would I add anything into my skin to make me look plastic? Seriously. I don't want to shame women who make this choice. Although I do want to say to them, why the fuck do you feel like you have to make this choice? So let me tell you my story of my lines. When my babies were little and they used to sit in my lap, they used to run their fingers along my lines like this. They had much dinkier fingers than me. And they would identify which line was for which person. These aren't just wrinkles, you see. These are love lines. I have a new line on my face for every person I love. And the more people I love, the more lines I have on my face. And the more I love that person, the deeper the lines are etched in my skin. Why would you want to erase your love lines? Why would you want anybody to not understand how much you love them? So now when I sit like this at the table, when I raise my eyebrows quizzically at something my children have said, they look at my face and immediately they're thinking, that's my line. She loves me. Look how much she loves me. They feel, even in my moments of grumpiness, they know that Mummy loves them because I've got lines on my face that show it. I've also happened to have lines around my eyes, which are deepening quite beautifully. I've got lines under my eyes. I have lines around my mouth. My face is lined, and as I get older, it's going to become more lined. It's going to become more etched with my life, with my happy moments, my grief moments, with my joyous moments, with my orgasmic bliss moments. I'm going to have a face that is lined with so much life, and that's what I want. And so that's my invitation. I'm a sex coach working in an industry where we all have to look plastic. We all have to be thin. We all have to have tiny waists and small thighs and lounge around in beautiful lingerie to make ourselves look super sexy based on a male patriarchal model. And I'm like, no, you don't. I've just learnt today, talking with this brilliant Kenyan woman, about the Kenyan tradition of the kitchen table, where on the eve of marriage, the young woman is joined by all the women in the community, the older ones, the younger ones, all the women come and join and talk about sex within her marriage and how sex about her body and his body and how to connect to her sexual pleasure and all this juicy stuff. And on one occasion, my lovely new friend shared this story of the 64-year-old matriarch of the community lying back on her back on the floor, demonstrating to the younger women how to squirt. Can you imagine that? Not a young person. It wasn't done in a porn movie. It was the old matriarch showing that women are sexual right up to the day they die, that they are squirting from 64-year-old vaginas. I'm like, how empowering is that? Now, that woman was not worrying about lines on her face. She was not Botoxing anything away. She was not on a diet to starve herself into eternal thinness and this maiden image of what sexuality is. Bullshit. She was like, I'm a 64-year-old matriarch in this village, in this community. I own my sexuality. I am sexual. I'm fucking... She may not have used the word goddess. That's what I would use. But she was strong and empowered and showing everybody what to do as a mature old woman. Let's all of us own our aging, celebrate our aging, love our aging, love our lines, connect with our lines, celebrate our lines, reframe our lines, call them whatever you want to be. Mine are love lines. They'll always be love lines. I'm really proud of my love lines. So sod you, Mrs. Blower, and sod all you women who, no, I don't want to say it that. Sod a society that pressures women to spend their money on putting chemicals in their faces rather than on beautiful crystal ones to put in their vaginas. Like, I know which one I'd rather spend my money on. At the end of the day, you're making a choice, and there's an opportunity cost to every spending decision we make. Let's stop spending our money on an industry that's set out to make us feel shit about ourselves, and instead spend money on an industry that's connecting us to our juiciness and our love and all the yumminess in our body. And that's it. Oh, what I do want to say, I've been distracted by my son coming home from college somehow. I don't know how he got here without me. But anyway, if you would like to learn more about your sexual power, join a matriarch. Like, I'm not a full matriarch, I'm a beginner matriarch, but I think 51 allows me to start claiming a little bit of the crone wisdom, and I have got a journey behind me that is different to many. If you want to learn more, if you want to join me on my newest program, which is starting next Friday, the link is in the comments below. It's called Lingam Mastery, and Sasha's saying spend your money on a lelo. I know it's a new purchase for her and she's really excited. So yes, spend your money on a lelo. That would give you so much more joy than fucking Botox. It'll make you smile so much more. If you want to come on a beautiful journey of sexual empowerment where you learn about your body, but you don't just learn about your body and your pleasure, you learn about how to use your body. It's just arrived, Zosha. Okay, so she's going to have a very smiley, happy afternoon. If you want to come on a program where we celebrate things like Lelo arriving, Sasha, you should join my program, where you want to activate this magical power in your body, and then you want to stand in that power and draw the man in your life in close to you. Stop interrupting me, Sasha. I'm trying to invite people onto my program and you keep telling me about your afternoon. She's cancelled her diary so that she can enjoy her new toy. That's Empowered Woman for you. Another crone, empowered crone, who's all about sexual pleasure and loving her body to smithereens, just like blowing it open from the inside. So if you want to do a bit more of that, learn about your potential, connect with your potential, enjoy your potential, and in that place of power, because sexual energy is power. In your place of sexual power, you want to know how to draw your man into it, because it's one thing to know how to connect to sexual energy within your own body. It's quite another to have the skills to draw your man into that place of power. And that's what I want to teach, because my ultimate why is connecting humans on the planet. So my program is really for heterosexual women in relationships with men. Will you gain from it if you're not in a relationship with that, or you're between relationships? Absolutely you will, but it is intended for women in relationships with men. I make no apologies for that. That's what it's for. I see women as having huge potential for healing a big wound in men and enabling men to connect with something gentler, softer, kinder, more compassionate in themselves, and that's going to have a huge impact for their relationships, for themselves, and for society at large. So it's a little program with a big mission. I'm sure I could make a sexual pun out of that, but I won't. So I started talking about wrinkles. I do feel very passionately about the lines on my face and the wrinkles, and I celebrate them. I love them. I will always, I guess, encourage them. It's like, to me, a really beautiful woman's face is a mature, old crone, etched with lines of a life well lived. It's not a plastic Barbie doll image. And I'll leave you with that. Take care. Bye now.